At the end of the day, if you like me all the time, I haven't done my job. At the end of the day, if I've not made you uncomfortable, if I haven't pissed you off a little bit, Sandra, I haven't done my job. Because your job as coaches, your job as business people, your job as a leader to your staff, Jennifer, is not that they like you, it's that they respect you. And it made me work harder. It made me work diligent. It made me look at my business differently. Like, what else? What other money am I leaving on the table? See, a lot of you are leaving money on the table because either you won't put something together or you're afraid to put something together. What support do you need? You can't grow a business by yourself. Quit trying to do it by yourself. That's your she-go or your ego. The people help you grow quicker, faster. Relationships help you win. I look at Grandma Sparky got over $500,000 of services donated to her last year because of this community. Not some random community, this community. Everything you need is all around you. Put that in the chat. That means money. Everything you need is all around you. Put that in the chat. Everything you need is all around you. That's money. That's clients. That's resources. I promise you it's all around you. Some of you have your blinders on and you're only seeing what you're seeing. You need help and community to open that up so you can see the new possibility to have the new reality. I need you to see that money's all around you. Please put that in the chat. Money's all around me. Prosperity's all around you, right? You're just holding yourself back. Part of it is really coming to terms with it and just saying, oh, this is what I need. And start opening your eyes to see where it is. Sometimes it'll come in services. Sometimes it'll come in dollars. Sometimes it'll come in a referral. Like, what are the things that you need to take your business to the next level? That's what this class is all about today. What do you need to do to take your business to the next level? And here's what I need you to know. Some of you are talking about it, but not doing anything about it. How many of you know people like that? They keep talking about it. Let me see so I'm not alone, right? But people aren't doing anything about it. Right? So a lot of us have been in business for a long time, but our sales are flat. How many of you, if your sales are flat, you know, last year was really about sustaining your business, right? Because we were all freaking out with COVID. But if you know that if your business is staying flat and you've been in business 5 years, 10 years, right? Then I always say you have 1 year of business repeating it 10 times, right? Because our business should be growing. Our business should have incremental growth. It shouldn't be flat. If it's flat, there's something missing in our marketing. There's something missing in our sales. So when I look at business, right, there's several different buckets inside of our business, and we have sales. Because when I first saw this, I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. I'm working so hard. How many of you know you're working too hard? You're busy being busy, like, wait, I'm working too hard. I'm making it too hard. I'm working too hard, but I just don't have another way. Yes? Awesome. So when you look at business, right, business is comprised of divisions, right? And so the first division I want to look at is sales, right? It doesn't matter what your vocation is, right? We all have to have a sales system. And so when I look at sales, where'd y'all go? Right? We have service sales, product sales, inventory, and customer management. And sales, under sales are these divisions: speaking, training, workshops, whatever it is your vocation is. Speaking is just a marketing avenue, right? We have to have sales scripts. We have to have tracking and contracts. A lot of times we get so excited about a lead, and a lead is not sales. A lead is possibility. I need us to look at how many leads, how many conversations do I personally need to have so I can close a sale. That's where this tracking and contracts become important. I know historically you have to have 10 conversations to close one client. Put that in the chat, 10 conversations to close one client. And a lot of times we're having one conversation, hoping and praying that conversation will close. That's not a sales strategy, that's hoping and praying. Right? Inventory is how much inventory you have, or here's another way to look at it. What's your capacity? So if you're looking at doing trainings, you're looking at doing coaching, you're looking at, selling a widget or gadget, or we're doing parent training, like Tess is doing parent training. Your inventory is how much capacity do I have? How many clients can I realistically serve? That's your capacity, because your pricing is set up by your expertise and your capacity and your overhead. So when I'm looking at your overall pricing strategy, it's your expertise, your capacity, and your overhead. And we need to include our profit in that. We have client management under sales. We have A clients, B clients, and C clients. So let me give you an example of that. An A client is that one that just spends all the money with you. That's your ideal client. That's your superstar client. Your B client is they show up occasionally. They might show up for free stuff. They might read your emails. They might not. That's a B customer. We want to get our B customers to A. And C customers are sometimers. Sometimes they buy, sometimes they don't, right? So we need to focus on, how do I get the A customers? Yes, yes? Yes, yes? Okay, great. So after sales, we have marketing. And marketing is, how do we get the clients to come into your business, right? How are we getting that message out there? So this is what marketing looks like, right? It's your advertising. It's your internal advertising and your external advertising. Internal advertising is when I'm doing email campaigns or my newsletter. External is your Facebook ads. It's you speaking. It's doing podcasts. It's getting press. That's all external marketing. Affiliate marketing is relationships. Like everyone on this call could be an affiliate for you, meaning they're willing to send an email out, meaning they're willing to do a Facebook Live with you, an Instagram Live with you about your product or service. This takes relationship cultivation. Put that in the chat, relationship cultivation. It's not a fast win. It's a long game, not a short game. Right? It's building those relationships, building the trust with your partners that will allow them to do that. Then you have to look at your corporate image under marketing. And your corporate image is, what does everything say about you? What do your business cards say? How do your business cards look, right? What is that? What does your website look like? Whatever that is, people are making decisions about us and they're judging us moment by moment by moment by moment, deciding if they want to do business with us or not, just by the way our visual branding looks. We have campaigns and our drip campaigns and our podcasts and in our client relationship management. All of this needs to happen in order for your business to win. So you have all that sales stuff, and I don't want to overwhelm you, but I want you to see why you might be where you're at. When you can see why you're at where you're at, then we start to have a breakthrough. It's like, well, no wonder I'm trying to be the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. How many of you can see just with those two divisions, I'm the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker? Me too, right? And having to break that mold, I used to too. And I thought, Tessa, as being a leader, I had to do everything, right? I had to. That was my job as a leader and a boss. And the reality is that's just not the case. That's just not the case. But you have to be aware of, am I doing all these things? Is that happening inside my business? Once you can see what's in there and what's not in there, there can be a complete breakthrough. But until you know what you're supposed to be working on, you're flying blind. You're flying blind, right? So the next division that you're working on is your operations. Your operations is, this is how we do it here. Your HR, and you're like, well, I don't really have an HR, but you have to recruit people. You have independent contractors. How am I training those independent contractors? What am I going to pay those independent contractors? What am I going to train? What am I going to pay that virtual assistant? Where am I going to find that virtual assistant? Right? So I want you to look at all the roles that we have to play. And then the last one is your finances, money in, money out, right? Accounting, forecasting, and payroll. If any one of these is not working inside of your business, you cannot build a sustainable business. Does that make sense? Let me see that you're here, right? So you get that. So I want to teach you to build a sustainable business. If you stay with me long-term, if you come and join this community, once I teach you how to do it, you can build business after business after business after business, Butterfly. It's not like a good day or bad day. It's a sustainable model. That's why I love teaching this, because I sucked at it, Melanie. I was horrible at it. I was like the butterfly, right? I'm like sparkle, squirrel, shiny object. How many of you are like me, right? It's like, here's a new opportunity. Here's another opportunity. I could do it all, be it all. And the reality is then I wasn't making money, right? Because I was chasing that sparkly thing. I was chasing the butterfly. I was chasing the squirrel. I was chasing whatever you're chasing. And they go, okay, wait, the fun part, which is the chasing, isn't the thing that's going to bring you sustainability. So I have to build you. I have to have you build that muscle. So how many of you are ready to build your muscle? It might be hard, but in the end, it's fun because then we start making money. I was talking to Dr. Viola before this call. She goes, Susie, I finally get it. It's finally working. All that infrastructure you had me put in place. She closed 4 clients today. 4 clients today. That was $3,700 in a day. In a day where she finally stopped resisting. Some of you are resisting me, Billy, right? Stephanie, some of you are resisting me, like thinking it's sprinkle fairy dust. There's no sprinkle fairy dust, right? It's the work that gets done. So the strategic plan, you don't have to have incremental growth. You don't have to have slow growth, right? When I look at what I've done for myself, when I look at what I did for Lisa Nichols, and when I look at what I did for John Asseroff, when I look at what I've done for Kathy Kidd, when I look at what I've done for Dr. Judy, we didn't have incremental growth. We had growth like this and then like that. Now, can you see that? Right? It's what we call the hockey stick, right? Now you can see it, yeah? Right? It's about taking off and exploding in your business. And if we don't have systems, infrastructure, a plan in place, then it'll come crashing down. 33 million businesses last year went out of business because they didn't put the infrastructure in place. 15% of our financial success is what my vocation is. So for Melanie, it's finding the God plan in you, right? For Tessa, it's being the coach for parents. For Jason and Brisa, it's helping stroke survivors for Brisa, and for Jason, it's empowering men and women to live their best life. That's only 15% of our financial success. The other 85% is what we're going to go over here. Juicy. I want to work on the 85%. You have to be good at your 15%, but that's why you're doing what you do. The 85%, we can make money now. We can make more money quicker, faster. As I'm teaching this, I want you to write down the answers. Here's what I want you to do. How many times have you been in business, or how many times have you been in a relationship and you said, I should have trusted my gut? How many of you have been in that, right? Where it's like, I should have trusted my gut. This is gut check. I don't want your logic involved. Part of the beauty of being an entrepreneur is our gut and our intuition knows. How many of you know this for a fact, that your gut and intuition has served you well in the past? So sometimes your analytical brain, the brain that says I have to know it all, do it all, be it all, have the right answer before I can do it. Where are my people who are very linear and have to know all the right answers? And I need a procedure sheet, right, Michelle? Give me my procedure sheet. I'm going to leave the procedure sheet aside. I don't want to get into the procedure sheet. I want to listen to your gut. Now, if you don't know the answer when we're doing it, just leave it blank and you'll go back to it. But the more we can get this done on this call, you're going to feel empowered. You're going to feel like a breath of fresh air. You're going to feel like this is exactly what I needed. Okay, so first step is clarity. So inside of clarity, I want you to write down, what do you do well? And not a paragraph. I want to write in bullets. Number 2, so what do you do well? I want to take a second and write that down. So I'm a great speaker. I'm a great profit manager. I'm a great writer, not editor. I can write, but don't have me spell stuff right. That's Hillary's job, not my job. Acronyms and pronouns, ask Hillary. I don't know, right? So what do you do well? Number 2, what do you need the most support in? What do you need the most support in? So do you need the most support when you look at that? Do you need the most support in sales? Like you're uncomfortable having those conversations? Do you need leads coming into your business? So do you need more help in marketing? Do you need help with the operations? Like that's the systems and the structures and your the back end stuff so things run automatically? Or do you need help in finances? Now, you might need help in all, but what's the thing right now that I need most help in? Right? The next question, write that down quickly and put it in the chat too. You can put it in the chat so we can see that you're here. What do you need to develop this year? What do you need to develop this year? So when I look at my business, we need as a company to develop our operations, right? Because when I look at, I've got Josie Torn being the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. She can't do it all, be it all. So what is she amazing at? What am I amazing at? What is Sam amazing at? We're a small and mighty team, you guys, right? We have outsourced teams, but that's my core team. So what do you need to develop this year? So we need to develop all the infrastructure that can sustain a multi-million-dollar business. You see, you can't have a multi-million-dollar business, then put the structure in place. No. You've got to create the structure for a multi-million-dollar business so then you can make a multi-million-dollar business. Somebody needed to hear just that today, right? And then what do you need to create this year? Do we need to create a program, right? Do we need to create a product? Do we need to create training for your team? Do you need to duplicate yourself? Do you need to create a profitable business? That needs to be at the top of all of our lists, right? And then what are you stuck on? And then what are you stuck on? So I want you to put in the chat box, what do you need to develop this year? So put that in there. What do you need to develop this year? I want to see what you guys have put, right? So Sandra said financial projections and the sale of business. Awesome. Products and a course. Penny Lynn said a coaching program. Josie said operations, acquire a team. Yolanda said, Dr. Tanya said a profitable business. Yes. The average business, you guys, just so you know, Billy, the average business only does less than 10% profit. And that's a company that is profitable. Only 88% of small businesses are not profitable. And the businesses that are profitable, two things. One, the owner doesn't pay themselves a paycheck, which would warrant like what you would get at a real job, right? And two, they're having less than 10% profit. So my goal for everyone on this call, because you know what average is, y'all, which is nobody here. Average is the best of the worst. So nobody here is the best of the worst. I'm just saying, right? So my goal is minimum 25% profit. I want you to have that number in your head. I want to plan that. I don't care if you're just starting a business. I don't care if you're growing the business. I don't care if you're scaling the business. What I want is I want you to have that number in your head from day one, from this day forward. That's your benchmark. Because if you build a business and there's no profit, you own a J-O-B. You own a J-O-B. And none of us want to own a J-O-B. I don't want to own a J-O-B. None of us wants to own a J-O-B. Okay, so put that in there. So minimum 25%, thank you. Profitable business plan program. This is what Butterfly's saying. Connection to school districts and administrators, right? Danielle Scott's in the house. She said 25%. Profitability, it's all important. Now, the next question is, what is your BHAG? Your BHAG is that big, hairy, audacious goal. That thing that makes you want to do the pee-pee dance. You know that goal? Right, Jason? The pee-pee dance goal, right? So what is the BHAG for you? I was doing so I have a 3-year plan that I work on. And I put down in my 3-year plan, Billy, $16 million as my gross revenue with 50% profit. Now that would be a good paycheck. Yes? Yes? Now, I wanted to pee my pants when I wrote it down, Billy, but I wasn't listening to my head. I was listening to my intuition and my gut. Delzina, I'm listening to my head. You're good intuitive. I need you to put that number down. You got to write it down. What is it for you? What's that big, hairy dream? That big, hairy dream could be, I want to be at the Best You conference. I want to get published by Simon & Schuster. I want to publish my book this year. I want to be a New York Times bestseller. I want to create a multi-million-dollar business. I want to create back of the head money. I want $100,000 this year in back of the head money, meaning you don't have to show up for something. It's just happening like a machine in the back of your business. What's that big, hairy, audacious goal? And write that down. And so I'll put in the chat so I know what your big, hairy, audacious goal is. I love it. Yikes. Back of the head money, Renata said, right? 1 million, Tagalia. Yikes. No yikes. Let's see. I need to get to develop a business plan. But that's perfect, Diane, but I want the PP dance goal. So the PP dance goal for Diane, because we had a conversation, is we want to create in the next 3 months a new online magazine for all your subscribers. That would be a PP dance goal, Diane. That would be a goal that you're like, I don't know how to do it. I don't have to, I don't know. Good, let's put it down. Right, Michelle, put your big PP dance goal in there, whatever that is. Sandra said, speaking at an international conference for women. That's awesome. Tanya Hood said that one, back of the head money. Billy said 375 grand. Online monthly subscriptions, 50 ambassadors for my Christian network. Yes, that's a big goal. Cherie, 1.5 million. Sabrina, New York Times bestseller. And listen, all of these things are strategy. All of these things are strategy. You want $1 million book deal? You want a $100,000 book deal? It's strategy. It's strategy. It's going to be your marketing plan, right? So how are we going to get $1 million? Your financial plan with 25% profit. Now, the next question is, what challenge are you facing now? And write that down. What challenge are you facing now? Because we all have challenges that we're facing in our business. And a lot of times we don't want to look at that challenge. It could be you have ADD, and that is real. How many of you know you have ADD and you're an entrepreneur, right? Because I come in my office, I can't start working, Delzenia, until I clean the whole place. I can't start working until I organize the thing, because if not, then I'm going to start working on my pile, right? Then if I leave my office and I see something, I feel compelled to do it before I go back in my office. That's my ADD. My ADT will sabotage me if I let it. How many of you are my sisters and brothers? Right? Just so I know I'm not alone. I love it. Jason's supporting Debrisa, right? And to go, okay, so it's a strength too, though. It's a strength because we can multitask and we get stuff done, right? I just don't want it to sabotage you. So your challenge could be finances. Your challenge could be, I don't have the money to grow my business. How many of you, that one's yours, right? I don't have the money to grow. I'm going to tell you, there's people who will invest in you. We just have to have that business plan that Diane was talking about. I have raised millions of dollars from other people's money. I need you to hear that. When I first started out speaking, one second, my mentor said, Susie, you need to write a book. So I wrote a book. Then they said, Susie, you have to have a product. I'm like, I don't have the money for a product. They're like, we need to create a product. Look, I might age myself, y'all. So we created this product. Look, it's a cassette tape. Look at that picture. Woo! Right? So the man, Ken Cassidy, he was a speaker. So he was technically a competitor. But I didn't see money was around me, Jason and Brisa. I was too afraid to ask. I was too vulnerable to ask for help. How many of you know you're too vulnerable to ask for help? Like, it's not comfortable. I just rather figure it out myself. Right. I'm just going to say I was with you. Ken happened to see something in me. And I said, Ken, I don't have money for a product. He goes, you can't just sell a book, Susie. You have to create a product. So this was the very first product that we created, from the book, right, to this. Then he said, listen, I'll loan you $5,000 so you can create that product. But what I want from you is every product you sell, I want 50% of the gross, right? And so this was only $30 back then, right? And I'm like, whatever. I had a JOB while I was living my dream. I had a JOB while I was building my business. I had income coming in while I was doing the side hustle. How many of you are like me, right? To go, I wasn't waiting around. So I'm like, well, I don't need that money. So instead of 50%, I gave him 100%. I ended up paying him $7,000 versus $5,000, but it was a win for me, right? I didn't have $7,000. You might have well said, give me $100,000 or $1 million. I didn't have it. Does that make sense? There are people around you who see you. There are people around you who know you that are willing to invest in you. I raised $1 million for the largest technology company in the beauty industry. I did not know how to start a technology company, Reiko. I did not know how to do that. We won the top technology company of the year from Microsoft. Billy, I still don't know how to do technology, but what I know how to do is sell. What I know how to do is raise money. What I know how to do is hire people that can do that stuff that I can't do. We raised $1 million and was the top technology company in that industry. So your mindset, your net worth will only go as your self-worth. I got out of, Ken helped me when I asked for help. He helped me see people are willing to support you. I had to honor my word. I had to pay him back. And it made me work harder. It made me work diligent. It made me look at my business differently. Like, what else? What other money am I leaving on the table? See, a lot of you are leaving money on the table because either you won't put something together or you're afraid to put something together. How many of you know fear is stopping you from your greatness? Right? Put that in. It's real. It's real. It's real. You're afraid of success or you're afraid of failure. You're afraid of success. I know that sounds bananaramas, or you're afraid of failure, right? So yes, fear stops you. Fear made me sick, right? Fear physically made her sick, afraid of your greatness. So that's when I say, what challenge? If it's financial challenge, let's put a plan together, Jason and Brisa, so your brother can invest in you, so he can see the possibility, so you quit suffering. He's got money. He's got money. He's got a friend that has money. If they don't have money, y'all, they have friends that have money, right, Co? Right? When we look at that center we want to open, that healing center, that retreat center, there's money all around us, but the plan has to be solid. The plan has to speak to possibility and financial return. All investors want to see is possibility and what's my return. Possibility and my return. So I want you to look at if money was no object, what would be your financial goal? What would be your financial goal? I want you to ask from your gut. I want you to ask from your higher power. I want you to ask from what's possible, not your limiting beliefs, not your money conversations, Jen. I want your higher power, that intuition. I want that number down, not the safe number. I always have two numbers, y'all. I have my safe number, Billy, that number that I know I can hit. And then I have my number, right? The number that I'm going to blow out, that like, if I did this, if I hit this, I would be top of the world. So what is that number? And write that down. By the end of the year, what do you want to achieve? By the end of the year, what do you want to achieve? And sometimes by the end of the year, Diane, it doesn't, whatever you say is going to occur. So be mindful of the words you choose. Be mindful of the words you choose. I said I want to be a best-selling author by the end of the year. I had New York Times in there, but what I kept chanting is best-selling author. I'm going to be a best-selling author. This is a best-selling book. This is a best-selling book. We said it over and over and over again in every team meeting and everything we did. And I dropped the New York Times. You know why? My little fear conversation. My little scarcity conversation, we've hit bestseller. We hit bestseller in 5 categories. Wasn't New York Times. Just notice how my sabotage creeped in there and knocked me down. Whatever, I'm still proud. We hit bestseller in 5 categories, but I want you to look at what do you want to create this year, and let's be clear about it so that you can hit it. Are you writing these down? Put that down in the chat so I can see. Put it down in the chat. What do you want to achieve by the end of the year? Jason and Brisa, I want to see that you have 20 clients and you make $200,000 minimum. That's my goal. Like, I want you to get up and do the pee-pee dance and like, I have to do this. Right? It's time to stop thinking about it, time to stop dreaming about it. It's time to do it. Yes, yes, 30 clients. There we go. 1,000 new members, Mary Jo. 1.5 by the end of the year. Yes, yes. Jason and Brisa, yes. Right? 3 million, Dr. V by the end of the year, best-selling author, New York Times, a world influencer, 1.2 million of income, known and unknown sources, Delzenia, that's right, right? Entrepreneurs are creative, right? And what I need you to know about money is not linear. Money is not linear. Money is created. Money is created. So when I realized that, I quit being afraid of money and realize that if I'm so creative, then how do I create the relationship with money so it doesn't hold me hostage? Some of you Your money conversations or lack of money is holding you hostage. You can't tap into prosperity. Who am I talking to right now? I'm talking to somebody, right? So I want you to look at, here's what I want to achieve by the end of the year. 1.2 million in income, $100,000. My mastermind, Dr. Vernetta, said 6 clients who yield $450,000 by the end of the year. That is delicious. Clarity is king. Clarity is king. Everything else will sabotage you if you're not clear, because you'll get sick, because there'll be a pandemic, because a child will get sick, a parent will get sick. If you're not clear, everybody else's agenda will wipe yours out. How many of you that's happened in the past? Look, I'm just saying, I believe in God, and God is my spiritual anchor. And I have a life that I have because of God. I have a life that I have because of my faith. I'm not putting my faith on you. I'm just saying my faith, right? So I should not physically be where I'm at in life. I was in 10 car accidents, 10. 5 of them, the car was totaled. The last one, I had neck surgery and back surgery. The doctor said, Susie, I don't think you'll ever be able to work out again. I don't think you'll ever walk right again. I'm nervous for you. Okay, can I just tell you, I work out. Can I just tell you, I have more energy than most of my colleagues. Can I just tell you that I don't use a walker? Look, I tried that walker. That has sexy on nobody. I'm just saying, right? You can't put bling, sparkle on a walker and be cute, right? This cannot have a walker, right? My mindset was bigger than my obstacle. So I need you to know, what's that mindset? Listen, last year we all had that thing called COVID try to knock us down, and it knocked a lot of people down. 33 million businesses were knocked down, but we're still here. We're still here. So I want you to look at, don't let the outside sabotage you, because sickness will come in, right? So I had my gallbladder taken out. I got COVID this year, right? My baby was in the hospital this year, right? She was in life or death every day, right? When I look at how the universe tried to stop me from my goals, stop me from my greatness, stop me from what I'm up to. And I said, no, not on my watch. Nope, not on my watch. I was diligent. I prayed. I got off of it. I didn't let it affect me. Even last week at Make It Rain, you guys, I had COVID the whole time. Nobody knew, because all I did was generate myself. What I wanted to do was go to bed. What I wanted to do was cancel. What I wanted to do is go, I'm sick. I can't. Sorry. I have 700 people wanting this information. So what are you willing to do by the end of the year? And then the next question is, what support do you need? I need you to write that down. What support do you need? You can't grow a business by yourself. Quit trying to do it by yourself. That's your she-go or your ego. You can't grow your business by yourself. I can't play 10 times bigger than I'm playing now by myself. I need team, I need coaches, and I need coaches in many areas. I got 3 financial coaches, 3, and I'm not a ding dong, but I need strategy. I got a marketing coach. I've got a business coach. I got a personal development coach, my AKA therapist, right? I have a fitness coach. And when I look at how do I excel in my life, I have to have somebody hold me accountable, because Diane, my sabotage mechanism will kick in and want me to stay in bed. It's too cold. It's too hard. But listen, when my team knows and I know what number I have to hit, I'm hanging on to that like a bulldog on a sock. Does that make sense? I need you to have your life, your whole life. You heard all my coaches. It's not just in business. All those people help me have a life that's unrecognizable. I want you to have a life, Dr. V, that's unrecognizable, because I see something in you you can't see in yourself yet, Denise. I see something in you, Percy, that you can't see in yourself. I see something in you, Delzenia, that you can't see in yourself. You have been led here, sitting here, this right time, this right opportunity, hear what I have to say. There's no coincidence. There is no coincidence. That's your divine universal power. That's that thing that guides you that says, I need this. Listen, a coach will tell you what you don't want to hear. A coach will show you what you don't want to see, so that you could be the person you knew that you can be. At the end of the day, if you like me all the time, I haven't done my job. At the end of the day, if I've not made you uncomfortable, if I haven't pissed you off a little bit, Sandra, I haven't done my job. Because your job as coaches, your job as business people, your job as a leader to your staff, Jennifer, is not that they like you, it's that they respect you. That at the end of the day, you're pushing them to their greatness. Look, this month, Sam's probably wanted to quit 5 times because I'm coaching her to her greatness, right? And I just have to pray. I'm like, please don't let her quit. Please don't let her quit. Please don't let her quit. But when you're holding someone to their greatness, there wasn't a breakdown. There wasn't personal. It was like, here's the result and here's what we need. Here's the result. Sometimes you're not telling your truth. Who am I talking to? Sometimes you know you need to say something, but you're not willing to say it to your family, to your friends, to your customers. Sometimes the thing that's stopping you, Michelle, from not closing sales is not telling that client, that potential client, the truth, right? Sometimes when someone says it's too expensive, you make that okay, that they're not going to sign up for your program because it's too expensive. That's an excuse and that's sabotage. When they say they can't afford it, but they loved the conversation, that's sabotage. That's their limiting belief. That's their upper limit conversation. Who needed to hear that today? Because people will tell you lots of things. They want your coaching, right, Emlo? They want your coaching. They love it. But when it comes time for them to put their commitment down, mean the money on the sign, they're like, oh, I got all these excuses. Yes, right, y'all? Because that's real, but that's just sabotage. I do it. It's like, one, either I'm too busy being busy, right? Or two, it's like, I don't know. So if they don't really know, our job is to show them what's possible. So now we want to look at key performance. So how do I became the profit coach. My clients gave me that name. I wasn't egotistical and made myself that name. My client said, Susie, you know what you do for us? I'm like, strategy? They're like, no, like I'm an idiot. No, that's not what it is. You show us the money. And how I show the money is looking at these key indicators. So I want you to look at the strategy plan, right? And we're going to break down, we're going to work in quarters. I don't want you to look at the whole year. We were going to break it down in quarters. Q1 is January, February, March. Q2 is April, May, June. Q3 is July, August, September. Q4 is October, November, December. They're in 3-month increments, right? And when I look at KPIs, these are some of the things we're going to measure. Not all the things, right? But I just want you to know what are KPIs. KPIs are key performance indicators. Everything. Someone write this in the chat. Everything is a mathematical equation. Everything. We have to do math as entrepreneurs or you will never make millions. You have to do math as entrepreneurs or you will never make millions. The minute I stopped resisting it, Brisa, the minute I said, okay, I will learn this and I'm going to get it, is when my financial trajectory changed. When I said, I'm not afraid of it anymore. Math is money. And we all love what money can do for us, yes? The freedom it gives us, the opportunity it gives us, math is money and money is fun. I had to shift my own mindset about money because before money was a jail sentence. Before I wouldn't even check my mail because I don't want to see if there was a bill. I didn't want to go look at my bank balance online. That was too scary. I would just be in denial. Who am I talking to right now? And the minute I let that go and said, I have to learn this. If I don't learn this, if I don't get ahead of this, if I don't become one with it, if I don't love it as much as I do the rest of my business, I will never have financial freedom. I will always be a slave to the dollar. But I want you to be a slave to the dollar. I want you to have opportunity, prosperity, possibility. And that all comes from looking at what gets measured. Type this in the chat. What gets measured gets repeated. What gets measured gets repeated. So I'm looking at every indicator in my business. The indicator tells me if I'm hitting my goals or not. The indicator says we're doing a good job or not somebody's behavior. Quit trying to manage people's behavior. Let's look at how are we going to look at each area of our business and find those key indicators. So there's 7 things that are going to make you millions. 7 things that's going to make me millions. Write that down. 7 things are going to make me millions. Number 1, it's an effective growth plan. How did I become the profit coach for my clients? The growth plan, the financial plan. The growth plan, the financial plan. I had to get my head out of the sand. I got to get your head out of the sand. I don't care if you don't like it. I want you to learn to embrace it. And then soon you'll start to like it. Number 2 is your advanced customer management. That's that A customer, B customer, C customer. Quit trying to sell everybody everything. Let's look at what's the highest income producing activity only you can do right now. Only you can do right now. I was talking to Milan is in our global leadership program, and she has a job. So she's working a job while she's building her business, working a job while she's doing her business. And she had this plan to create all these products. And I said, Milan, we don't have time for that. We have time for one. Let's look at the highest income producing activity. See, do one well. Do one well. I started GLP first, right? I have executive coaching and GLP. That was it, right? And then built that and then went, okay, what else can I serve? What else can I serve? If people don't want to pay that or they don't want to do that, next, right? Some of you are picking up pennies, losing dollars, picking up pennies, losing dollars, right? Number 3 is you have to have robust processes. There has to be a breadcrumb trail to how you get the contract, a breadcrumb trail for how you serve your client, a breadcrumb trail for how you do business. If you hate sales and you don't have this book, you need to get this book. Chapter 6, page 199 has a script for sales. That is $100,000 script. I have made millions off of this script, millions. I follow a script to this day. I've been doing it for 25 years, Billy. I still follow the script because I know me. I'm a coach and I'm a talker. If I don't follow a script, I'm going off sparkle, squirrel. I'm going to fix them. How many of you are fixers? You want to fix them, right? And we want to prove, let me prove to you how good I am. Well, they haven't earned that yet. They haven't earned your coaching. The minute they earn their coaching is when they sign the contract, when they put $1 down, when they put $50 down, when they put 200, 500, 1,000, 10,000, whatever the number is. Yes, yes? Okay, number 4, the differentiations between products and services. Number 5 is strong core values. And they're not values that are on a wall and you forget about them. It's something that you live on. Something that you live on. Ours is honesty, transparency, integrity, communication, and teamwork. We live by them. We live by them. And it's in everything we do and everything we handle. Number 6 is finding the right people for the right seats for the right people. Do you have people doing jobs because they're a friend or because when you started, Sam's in a little of this right now. She's doing all the jobs and it's not all her sweet spot. We need another person to get all that stuff Sam doesn't like to do. Give it to another person that loves to do that. So it frees her up to do what she loves, to go the right people doing the right job at the right time. Sometimes we put a square peg in a round hole and then we spend more money because they don't like what they're doing. So they take twice as long. How many of you have had that experience? If people aren't hitting their deadlines and timelines, and if you have a web developer that's still lacking and you've been waiting forever to do it, getting it done, they don't love what they do. They're just doing it for money. Find someone. Josie is a marketing guru. She stays up till midnight, 2, 3 in the morning because she gets geeked out over funnels. That would not be me. But that's her. She loves it. She's in the right seat. So we want to look at in every area of your business, what do we need to grow? And effective growth planning, I want you to put down how many active affiliate partners do I need? Affiliate partners, they don't have to be big. They're just other people that will wave that flag for you. There are other people that will send an email for you. There are other people that will do a Facebook Live with you. There are other people who will share your message for a revenue share, but they'll share your message. I paid Lisa Nichols $250,000 last year. How many of you would like a love check for $250,000 and you never have to pick up your finger, right? That's a good check, yes? Right? That's a great partnership. So she didn't have to do anything for that, but bring me on stage. So I want you to look at, we're working too hard. Say, I'm working too hard. So how many, put in the chat, how many active affiliate partners will you have? I'm going to say you want a minimum of 10. The minimum is 10 that you want to have. So how are we going to dominate and be the authority in your community? I need you to be the authority in your community. So I'm the profit coach. I'm the authority. And I do that with my social media. I do that with my press. I do that with my podcast interviews. I do that because other people deem me that, but I had to deem myself that first, Tanya. I had to deem myself the profit coach. I had to prove my results, but I had to deem myself that first, right? How many unique visitors do you need to come to you, come to your site? In our business, I need 602 qualified leads, Diane, every single month for me to hit my revenue goals. If I do not have 602 unique qualified visitors, we are wasting time and money. I will not hit my revenue goal. Does that make sense? So you're hoping and you're praying. You're doing Facebook, you're posting, you're doing some email campaigns, but how many people do we need? If we don't have 602, we're not going to hit our number. So I need you to be that much of a bulldog on a sock going, I didn't hit that number. See, some of you are making it about you. I'm no good. They don't like me. You just don't have the numbers right. What gets measured gets repeated. Once you know what that number is, game changer, game changer. So how many people need to come to your site? So I found out that we needed 7,635 new unique visitors every year. That broke down to 602 every single month, right? Then you break it down every single week so that I know I need to be on podcasts. I need to be speaking. I need to do Facebook ads. I need to do Google ads. I need to do, what do I need to do? I need to do referral campaigns. Like, are you that hungry? Are you doing that kind of work? That's the only difference between me and you. I promise you, Sandra, I promise. That's the only difference. Why I'm doing millions and we're still struggling with hundreds of thousands. We need that. Now, how much do you need your database to grow by? Right? So if my database grows by 600 a month, that's 7,635 for the year. So how many people? My first launch year had 12,000 people in my database by the end of the year. I have colleagues that have been in this industry for years that haven't hit that, right? That are still trying to hit that. I have a really good colleague, 9 years she's been in the business. She has about 6,000 people in her database. Her marketing team should be fired. Do you see that? Right? We're working too hard to go, how do I get seen? How do I get heard so that I can be paid? So then that goes to how many people would need to click through. So on average, you'll have 1 to 5% in click through, 1 to 5%. If you're good, you'll have 20%. If you're really good, you can have as much as 40%. So we have to know what those benchmarks are. Put the number in. Put the number in so you have something to shoot for. So how much do you want to grow your social media? Right? A lot of you are focused on maybe posting, but not focused on growing. We've got to be focused on growing. Jennifer, wave your hand. Jennifer did our social media for a while. She helped us in the intern until we found another full-time person, right? To grow your list. Your list has to be growing. Your email, your social media is part of that 602. Don't let it be passive. Don't let it be organic. If you don't have an intention, it's not going to grow. How many likes do you need? Right? Engagement is just as important. So I want you to, in your business site, you're managing likes. You know, in your Instagram, you're managing people. In your LinkedIn, you're managing connections, right? In your Twitter, you're managing people. So I want a number in each one of those. And I want it to be a PP number that makes you want to pee your pants, but you're committed to that number. You have to be committed to that number. So then you can measure the growth, right? You can see it. Now let's go into what is the revenue goal. So if you want $1 million, you want to make $1 million, you need to divide that by 4. And that's going to give me my quarterly goal, right? So it's going to be $250,000 a quarter. This week I looked at where was I at towards my quarterly goal. And I closed a $60,000 contract because I needed money to close my goal. I have to have a two-headed conversation. I'm the service provider and I'm serving and giving, and I'm a business person and I have to hit my goals. Right, Hillary? They're both the same. Sometimes you have to mentally put a hat on that says I'm the CEO and take the hat off called I'm the technician. Your technician side, your service side, your servant heart doesn't want to do this exercise. Your servant heart says, I just want to give to people. I want to give to people too, but if you're broke, we can't give. I need you to know that. So whatever your number is, if it's $500,000, I need you to divide that by 4. And that would be 125,000 every quarter. 125,000 every quarter divided by 3 months is $41,666. You want to hit $500,000, you need $41,666 every single month. Then you divide that by the month and the week. So if I divide that by 4, I got to hit $10,416. So for Jason and Brees, I have to go, how much are we charging for our program? If it's $2,000, I got to divide it by 2,000. That gives me 5 people a month. That's their goal, 5 people a month, 5 people a month. I got to close 5 people a month, 5 people a month to hit my 10,000, to hit my 125,000, to hit my 500,000. Quit making it so hard. Quit making it so hard. Let's look at what's the easiest denomination that you can wrap your head around to hit the goal. Now, it's important that you know, when you tell people publicly, there's no shame in whatever you're doing, something magical happens. You start hitting the number. The more you hide about your financial well-being, the more you're scared to share your goals, the more you're sabotaging that. Your limiting belief is squashing that. Whatever, people are going to judge you. I need you to know, people are going to judge you. People are going to like you or they're not going to like you. They're going to talk shit about you or they're not going to talk shit about you. Sorry, I'm saying that word, but I need you to hear it because I tried to be a pretzel. I tried to be a Gumby. I tried to shape every way so Michelle would like me. At the end of the day, Michelle didn't like me. Not this Michelle, she loves me, right? So I want you to know, how many of you felt like Gumby in the past? Like you're trying to please everyone. I'm trying to make everyone happy. No, we can't make them happy. That's what I've learned in my 56 years. They either like you or they don't. They respect you or they don't. So let's be us. Let's be unapologetically us. And being unapologetically, I need you to put your badass list together. I need you to put that list of things that you're good at. That's how Jason and Brisa, you're going to charge what you're worth. When you start putting that down, we have what we call SWOT analysis. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are my threats? And what are my opportunities? So I need you to own your strength. I need you to own what you're amazing at. Quit being shy. We're entrepreneurs. No one is going to give us a pat on the back. Nobody's going to ring our bell. Nobody's going to say good job, but you and your community. So I need you to put, what are my strengths? So fill this out. My strengths, my opportunities. So your opportunities are, where does the market need to be served? My business has always started with my client. What do you see? How do we serve? How do we need? I never sell, Jason and Brisa. I find the need, I feel the need, I make the recommendation, and I close. I find the need, I feel the need, I make the recommendation, and I close. It's really that easy. I follow my script on page 199, but it is really that easy. So I want you to look at, what are the opportunities? Where else can I serve? Where else can I play? What does the market need now because of the situation we're in that they didn't need before? What do they need now? People are in isolation. Alcoholism is up. Relationship abuse is up, right? Domestic violence is up, right? Teen suicide is up, right? Racial diversity, what do you say when you're pulling it apart? Tension is up, right? When you look at the political environment, chaos, how can you be the solution? How can you be the solution? Those are all opportunities. I don't know what they are, but I just spoke to somebody, right? So I want you to look at, and then what's your weaknesses? What's that thing that has you weak? Mine used to be, I was a butterfly. That meant I was a multitasker. I was trying to do too many things to too many people and not focused on the right things. I was focused on not the highest paying income producing activities, the lowest ones, because they were minutia that I needed to get done. How many of you know what I'm talking about, right? You checking your email, not the highest income producing activity. Check it once in the morning, check it once in the afternoon, and once at the end of the night. Check it once in the morning, once at night. Don't get distracted. Your distractions are sabotaging you. That's a weakness for entrepreneurs, right? Your fear of creating a budget, your fear of not understanding, that's a sabotage. Your fear of not taking action, that's a sabotage. Your fear of being afraid to ask, that's sabotage. All that sabotage, right? Unconscious sabotage. If you knew it was sabotage, you wouldn't do it. That's why we call it sabotage. Yes? Risa, yes, yes. And then what are the threats? The threats right now is the economic situation that we're all in. The threats right now is our country staying closed down. Our threat right now, if you have a physical location, is people aren't allowed to come in your business. The threats right now might be people in your household. The threats right now might be your limiting mindset. The threats right now might be your fear of taking action. The threats right now is afraid to spend money because if I spend money, I don't know what's going to happen. The threat right now is you don't know what you don't know, so you're not doing anything. I'm just saying those could be some of your threats. How many of you can see any one of those threats in your business? It's important to identify. The truth will set you free. It's important for me to identify, what am I afraid about? What am I nervous about? What do I not want to do? How come I don't want to have that conversation? All those hard conversations you don't want to have, that's your sabotage mechanism. That's your fear that comes in. Now, if you want to create great people and you want to have great people, I know we all don't have the budget to hire great people, right? Raise your hand. Then let's look at how else you can compensate them. I've hired people, talented people, on possibility versus a paycheck. Everybody says to me when we hire them, and I'm sure you guys have got this, they want to make $100,000. Okay, I want you to make $100,000 too, but my budget is 30. I could get you to 100. We can put a bonus plan together. We can manage all these numbers that we're talking about. Pay people for performance. Don't pay people a paycheck. Write that down. Pay people for performance. Don't pay for a paycheck. If they're performing, the paycheck will come. Pay yourself on performance. The paycheck will come. You see, if you're not bringing income in, you're focused on the wrong activities. If you're not bringing income in right now, you're focused on the wrong activities. I know, I'm sorry, I'm hurting some of you. I'm hitting hard. Remember, a coach will tell you what you don't want to hear. So I need you to look at what's the method of compensation I can pay people. Whatever your number is, your number is. I was talking to my client, Teresa Dubois, who owns Evolutionary Business Council. Evolutionary Business Council is a networking organization for thought leaders, which is everybody on this call. All the thought leaders come together and all the thought leaders brain share and support each other in growing their business. We were talking about overseas help. She lives in Costa Rica. She goes, Susie, do you know that I can hire a marketing manager here for $5 an hour? I'm like, what? What? And she's like, yeah, she just hired an MBA for $5 an hour in Costa Rica. So I want you to look at what we don't know is hurting us. I know, Billy. I'm like, I need one of those, right? When you start looking at what's your budget, let's find opportunity with other people. We're global economy right now. Global economy right now. How do we get that support and that service that we need, right? So what's the action plan you're going to need? How are we going to manage it, right? My team knows, like, we didn't hit one of our numbers last week, and I got on the phone, like, here's our number. We need to hit that number. Josie worked like an animal. Josie worked nonstop around the clock. So we hit that number because that's part of her job. That's part of her accountability. That's part of her performance management. Don't be afraid to hold people accountable. You honor the human dignity of the human spirit when you hold them accountable, even if they're VAs, even if, butterfly, they're volunteers, even if they're volunteering their time. Time is money. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. You're training him. You're pouring into him. I need you to hear it. So your mission and your values are something to guide you in the time of diversity and crisis. My values, when I'm making a business decision, is this in line with my values? Is this in line with our culture? See, you can get distracted by money. And I'll say all money is not good money. All money is not good money. Because you'll have a client that will bring you money, and because you need money, your gut, your values says no, but your wallet says yes. Have you ever had that experience? I've done that in the past. All money's not good money. It's come and bit me in the hiney. So I want you to look at your values are the thing that are your guiding posts of we should do this or we should not do that. Now, so I'm going through some of these fast, but I need you to go back, right, and fill them all in, because this will give you the foundation of your business and your team. and your team so they can see it. Now, growth number 2 is your advanced customer management system. So I want you to look at, how are we getting clients? How are we getting clients? Now, in your customer management system, it's just not how many clients, right? I'm going to look at a couple things. I'm going to look at my average service ticket, right? It could be average sale per head. That's another way people say it, right? So how much does each client spend on average? You see, once I know that number, that if the average customer spends $500, I'm going to take that $500,000 and divide it by my 500 students. And that means I have to have 1,000 students a year. 1,000 students a year divided by 12 months is 83 students a month. Divided by 4 weeks is 20 students a week. Divided by 5 days is 4 students a day. Everything's a mathematical equation. Everything's a mathematical equation, right? So you're going to have average service, and then average retail is your books, it's your digital programs, that's retail. Service, average service sales, when you spend time delivering the product or service, when you're in service fulfillment. So a large part of my job is service fulfillment, right? My calendar, if you look at my calendar, it's crazy with service fulfillment. Client calls, homework for people, right? Looking at how to support them. Then you want to look at the lifetime value of a customer. So I want to use that. If my average customer is $500, then I want to look at how long will a customer stay with you. So on average, the industry leaders say 3 years. So when you look at a customer, that customer isn't $500, that customer is $1,500. There's a different conversation you have when you're on the phone with someone and you're looking at $500 or $1,500. Now you do the multiples, like when you look at Dr. Tanya's numbers, right? And you look at her multiples, right? Her every single customer might be $12,000. But if that $12,000 times 3 years, right? That starts to accumulate. Now her every client conversation is $36,000. So Jason and Brisa, if you're selling $1,000 service, we're really looking at a value of $3,000. It shifts how you relate to people. It shifts how you serve those people. It shifts what kind of follow-up you do. It shifts if you're going to write a thank you note. It shifts on when somebody emails you, how fast you email them back. It all shifts because it's not the now money now, it's the long term of the money. Now, what people don't say, what industry leaders don't say, is how much is the referral worth, right? So each one of you were referred from somewhere, whether it was my list, whether it was somebody else's list, but you start looking at that, how many people come into my tribe because of a referral? That's another lifetime value number, right? So I want you to look at the big game, not the little game, right, outside your business. So again, your total database, how many people do we need in there, and your total fan base. Now, we've talked about the difference between a fan and a customer. A fan is all those people on social media. A fan is all those people that push like. A fan is all those people on Instagram, on your YouTube, on your Twitter. We have to have them, but fans a day aren't paying my bill. Fans aren't paying my bill. Customers are paying your bills. So you have to look at that number and go, out of this, if you look at social media, less than 1% will become customers. So if I look at that and you have 10,000 people, only 1% is a qualified lead for you. So it just helps you understand, well, that's why I'm not closing the sales, because I don't have enough people. Does that make sense, you guys? That's why you're making it too hard, like you're not good enough, you're not doing it, you're not, you just don't. The numbers just don't work. So quit beating yourself up, right? Put the stick down. This is the stick, and we all have it, called the ugly stick, where you beat yourself up. How many of you beat yourself up, right? Thinking, I should be farther along. I should have more, right? That's a conversation we're all having in our heads, yes? Is it just me, right? And the reality is, we just don't have enough people in the front end. We just don't have enough people in your group in general. We don't have enough people. So how do we get more people? You get more people by doing referral programs. You get more people by doing free stuff, going doing Facebook Live for people, going in your Facebook, on Insta stories, doing your YouTube videos. All that's about generating people. All that's about generating opportunity inside of your business. Juicy, juicy? Yes? Okay, great. So then you want to look at segments. So your A customers are the people that spend the most money with you. You're going to do different things for them, right? You might give them free services. You might, so for our A customers, we sent Omaha steak things this year, right? So we send them big chunks of meat, right? What do you give people that have everything? We send them food, right? So that they could make Christmas dinner for their family or whatever, or New Year's dinner for their family, to go, here's how we're rewarding our A customers, right? Our B customers, we sent gift boxes, right? Just appreciation to go, how do I take care of the people who are taking care of me? That's very important. And it doesn't have to be a monetary thing. It could be a thank you card. It could be a text message. It could be, I know who are my first emails a day that I answer. They're my consulting clients and my GLP students. Everything else will wait until I can get to it later in the day. But those are my first ones. So those are our highest end programs, right? And then I look down like, who's next, who's next, who's next, who's next? Use your time wisely. So I want you to look at, how am I going to serve this market? Your A customers will send more referrals. So how do I take care of them? Now we have a top 100 strategy. Your top 100 customers, what can you do for them? We do a lot of free education, right? We do bonus stuff for them. They get the first right to know about programs that we have. They might come and be able to do a beta test of something that we're doing for free, that we haven't launched yet, but to have them experience that. We refer them other people. We refer them podcasts. We refer them to when we're being interviewed for different articles. I'm talking about my top customers. Those are my GLP and my executive coaching clients, right? To go, I want to support people that are supporting me. What's your strategy? Use it as a strategy, not as an idea. Use it as a strategy, but not as an idea. Does that make sense? Juicy, juicy? Okay, great. I want to hear from a couple of you so far, because we're only on indicator 2. We're only on indicator 2. So I want to hear from a couple of you. What are you seeing differently? Because a lot of us have been in this tribe for a long time. What are you seeing differently that you've not seen before? So who's going to share with me?
One thing that I see for sure is that you really took the emotion out of the transaction, which sometimes my emotions can prevent me from moving forward.
Yeah.
The second thing that I learned is really how to look at scaling in terms of numbers. How many people do I actually need per program that I have? And looking at the marketing strategy that I don't have, that I need to hit my goals that I want to hit. Yeah. So it's just so simple.
So simple. That's when I say we're making it too hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but we're making it too hard because we just don't know. Like you're flying blind, right? Or driving blind. If you say, hey, come to my house, and Tessa has no direction to my house, she'll just be driving like, I think she lives in California. I don't know, that's what I heard. Somebody said, well, California is a big state, right? Okay, well, she lives in San Diego. San Diego's a big city. Okay, well, she lives in North County. North County is a big city, right? Okay, well, here's her address. Okay, I can find that now. A lot of us are going, I want to make $1 million, but you don't know where that lives. You don't know how many units that is. You don't know what you should be charged. Your pricing is based on your capacity, your expertise, your profitability, and your overhead. Your pricing is based on your capacity first. See, some of you are too cheap and you don't even know you're too cheap, because if you are at capacity, you're still not going to make the money you want to make. That's why you're broke, because you've never looked at your capacity. You're just like, this is what I think they can afford. Who cares what you think they can afford? Here's what we have to charge. Let's look at the formula, not our emotion about it, and then work on your emotions about why you're afraid about it. Yes, yes? That was delicious, Sherry. Okay, Jen fills in.
I'm taking notes and I'm like, okay, pricing, capacity.
Exactly.
Is based on, I'm just writing this down. Hold on. Because if I don't write it down,
I'm with you.
Taking notes like crazy. Okay. So what have I learned? Oh my gosh, guys, what have I learned? Oh, okay. So systems. So Susie's really walked me and the whole GLP tribe, but like I've been really diligent on my homework, systems. And at first I didn't think a business plan was necessary. And then it really helped me clarify. And then it got my team to be clear. It was like, okay, now I get it. And what's really kind of ironic is since like the Y2K bug, remember 1999 when everyone thought that the whole system was going to crash when the date ticked off? I was doing systems documentations back then, but it took me years later, like now, to finally realize, oh, the standard operating procedures is what allows me to scale. It's what allows me to grow. It's not just minutia. It's actually what slingshots you so you can launch forward faster. And then I built so many systems and processes. I'm explaining it to my team. I'm so proud. I'm like, look at this shining new systems and process. And then they find holes in it. I'm like, shit. But I wouldn't have been able to see the holes if I hadn't have built the system to find out where the holes are. You can't have a working system if you don't have it built. Then you can reverse engineer and fix things.
Yeah, and a system isn't in your head. That's not a system. So Jen's talking about, so I want to clarify system because some people get like, they think it's some technical thing. So Jen, just share like what you did just for your training, because that's a robust system.
Right. Just for training. Oh gosh. Which aspect of it? Okay. But all right. So
what you put together.
Okay. So what I did was I put together my business plan. I really clarified, what are my products? What are my services? How am I doing all the different facets of my business? And then I realized, okay, the training when I'm teaching my team how to write SEO content for websites, when I'm teaching them how to create social media posts for our clients, when I'm teaching them, I thought that if I just shared with them my online course and had them watch it, they would have everything they would need. But then there's a whole bunch of stuff on the back end. How do you upload those blogs? How do you put it all into Hootsuite? How do you do this? What happens if there's a problem? Is Bulk Composer uploading better and faster than manually doing it? Like there's so many different, I opened up a can of worms is what I did.
But we're building a business to sell it. We're building a business to sell. See, I want you from day one to build the business to sell. You don't have to sell it, but you want the opportunity to sell because everything's for sale for the right price. Yes?
Yes.
It's all for sale. I didn't think I'd ever sell my business, but then they threw down the number. I'm like, okay, I could do that. That I'm excited about that, right? Right? Before that, I was like, no, this is my baby. No, look, enough money, Stephanie. You'll go, I consider that, right? So we want to build it to sell it, which is what Jen's doing, consciously or unconsciously, right? I want to build that foundation so we're building something that someone else can buy with you not having to be there. That's truly entrepreneurship. That's the American dream. So I want to support us in living that American dream, living the dream wherever you are in the world to go, let me create something that's sustainable, something that something else wants. And the only way I was able to sell my business for 10 million is I had a procedure for everything. I had a procedure for everything, how we talked, what our scripts were, right? They started with different, products and they became the procedure that became the procedure, right? So I want you to look at, it doesn't have to be hard. You're already doing it. Just document it. Document it either verbally or document it in written. So Tessa, share, what are you getting tonight?
I am getting mind blown. What I'm getting.
It's awesome, right? I love mind blown.
So 25 years of managing salons and my own studio, right? Did not realize that the owners of my salons that I was managing were chasing their tails. They didn't show me any of this stuff. They would tell me, oh, well, let's try to just hit this number. It was just, there was never, hey, this is our plan. Had they told me that, and then the fact that, you broke it down into quarters, months, weeks, I was like, man, now I know where they went wrong. And then, but then the turd rolls backwards downhill and it hits you, and you're like, thanks, right? Had I known your plan.
Right.
So, but the hats that you wear, because this is where I'm at. I'm starting, COVID shut down my studio. I'm starting all over. And I'm like, man, I'm doing all these little jobs that don't make me money.
Yes.
And
Right. And so and we have to, sometimes we have to, right? But here's what I want to look at. 50% of your time needs to always be the technician. You're selling, you're serving, or you're saving. You're selling, you're serving, or you're saving. 50% of your time when you're just starting out, you have to be on the phone. You have to be doing Facebook Lives. You have to be speaking somewhere. The other 50% of that time is infrastructure. That's your systems. That's how am I doing this? That's your marketing. And if you can't hire someone else to do it, then you have to do it, right? So 80% of my time is selling, serving, or saving. 20% of my time is inside of doing it that I have to do for the business. Thank God I have Josie. Thank God I have Sam, right? That makes me the 100%. So what I'm not doing, Josie's doing. What I'm not doing, Sam's doing. It's still my job, but they're doing my job because I don't have capacity to do the job. Does that make sense? So I need you to make a list of what's all that stuff, what's that penny job that I'm spending dollar time on. Let's go hire some people in Costa Rica for $5 an hour, right? When you look at the time wise, you look at the money wise, the expertise still there. They still speak English. It's a time zone difference. To go, how do I do this for more cost effective? Cheaper doesn't mean cheap. Cheaper doesn't mean not talented. Cheaper, it just means cost effective. Does that make sense? Stop paying top dollar. Everything's negotiable. I hired the top talent in the world for the companies that I've owned, the companies that I've run, for opportunity. People think money is the number one thing. Money is not the number one thing. Opportunity, recognition, making sure people feel acknowledged, feel like they're doing a good job, right? The third thing then starts to become flexibility with time, like work-life balance. I don't care if Sam works 40 hours a week, 30 hours a week, get the job done. You want to take a Friday off, get the job done. I don't care, right? I'm not attached to that. I'm attached to the result. If the results aren't there, then I get mad at that, right? Then I have something to coach on, but the results are there. I don't need to say anything. Make sense to you guys? And what do you need next? What do you need for your business to have radical growth this year? PP dance growth.
I need like serious sales. I need like a serious big time sales. I want to do $1 million this year. And I have my team in place. I have a finance team. So I have a virtual CFO team. So I nailed that down last year. And then I have like 4 fabulous people working in my company. So I have that down. And so I was a wholesale company. So last year and this year, all of our shows are canceled. So we had to pivot online. And so this year is just going forward and really going for growth. And we're planning on doing that through, online selling, through concierge appointments to our wholesale customers. And then we just launched a new candle line. We mostly sell pillows that we manufacture here in LA. So we launched the concierge the appointments, and then so now the candle line, and we were just figuring out our numbers today on the candle collection. So that could be a really good revenue stream for us. And yeah, so now it's just like sales. We just need to double down and make these sales happen.
Perfect.
So.
Yeah. Have your virtual CFO. I want them to look at how many units we need to sell, and then how many qualified leads do we need to get.
Right.
So we sell. That's the magic number.
I wrote that down when you were talking about that, because we didn't discuss that today. We just discussed like dollars per month that we had to sell. So,
okay. So that'll be a game changer, because most salespeople, they're like, well, I'm not getting the leads. Well, how many leads based on their closing ratio? Because if you're getting them the leads, let's say they need 100 leads, hypothetically, per salesperson per month. So if they're not getting 100 leads, okay, then we know that's an issue. But if they're getting 100 leads and they're not closing, then it's either they're closing sales or the leads we are getting aren't qualified. Right. So it's a formula. And once you know the formula, it's a game changer. And then you don't have to manage people's emotions. You don't have to manage the drama, right? You either did it or you didn't, and it's okay, right? Here's what I expect. It makes your job descriptions and your accountability so much cleaner.
Right.
It's a numbers game. So let's play the game. Let's play the numbers, right?
Yeah, it's not personal. It takes away the personal aspect of it. I love that. Yeah.
Okay, they're coming on back.
And when salespeople don't hit their goals, they make it personal to themselves, right? And they're like, well, I didn't get this or I didn't get that. You didn't, your closing percentage is 10%. We need it 25% or whatever, right? Then the training is customizable to go, oh, you need a sales training. Oh, you need a sales script. Oh, you need, and now we as managers, it's like so much easier to manage people. Lord Jesus.
Right.
Lord Jesus.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Cindy. I appreciate it.
You're
How
welcome.
was it, Jill? Did you meet some new friends?
Yeah, KD, but she just had her microphone on. And we both agreed that we have a lot of things going on up in our head, and we
Yeah.
need to get it down on paper and organized and make it clear what the packages are we want to sell.
Good, Juicy. Good job.
Hi, this is KD. Just adding to that. And also we agreed that we need to focus more on action and less on just rereading the information we already have.
Yes, that's juicy, Katie.
Yes, analysis paralysis. That's my weakness.
How many of you that's your weakness? So Katie knows she's not alone. Okay, good. So Dr. Tanya, what was the value for you? I want to hear from you. You look so beautiful. I've missed you.
I've missed you too. The value for me tonight was really confirmation on a lot of things that I've learned from you over the years. Also confirmation on my money mindset and reminding me how to utilize money. And the biggest takeaway is, although I'm building my pipeline now, I need to pick up the damn phone. And so.
Yes. Right. We need to be talking to our friends. Like, what's happening? What, how can we play? Is there anything I can do to service you? Not service you, serve you. Right. So I want you guys to quit making sales calls so scary and just go, I'm connecting with Susie, or I'm connecting with Dana, or I'm connecting with Dana, or I'm connecting with Brisa, or just do connection calls. Like when I got rid of the language, cold calls, sales calls, like in my calendar, what my sales call time says is wealth building creation. Right? I'm not doing sales calls. Like, how do I help Dr. Tanya create wealth for herself? How do I help Billy create wealth for herself? How do I help Jason and Brisa create wealth for myself? Now it's fun to get on the call with them. Where before it was like, oh, I got to do a cold call. Oh, I got to do sales calls. Somebody wants to do that. That's not fun. Change the language, change the outcome. Brisa, you want to share?
It wasn't, but but I was just agreeing with everybody.
Okay, you can agree.
But yeah, first of all, making these connections will help your business, and if not, it's going to help your heart, because knowing that you could be the person to connect someone else that can eventually help someone else thrive in their business, it all comes back around. And the two ladies that were in our room, I already know all the connections that I can help them with. And as a result, I'm just on fire about that. I'm super excited about that. But
I'm gonna add.
Yeah, he's gonna add real stuff.
Find the need, fill the need, make a recommendation.
Yeah.
I believe that we have been finding the need, we have been filling the need, but we're leaving them with, okay, what next? What next? What next? Yeah. I'm on Facebook Live all the time. We're doing videos, we're doing posts, and everybody's eating it up, but they got nowhere to go because we're not making a recommendation.
Yeah, on Facebook Live, you have to do a call to action. So that call to action would be post a comment. Call to action could be share this with your community. Right. Call to action is schedule an appointment to talk to me if I'm the right person for you. I had one client do this exercise. Because she wasn't doing a call to action. She was just doing foreplay. A lot of you are doing foreplay in business. Foreplays, you get them all excited and then you go, I got to go home. Okay, bye-bye. And they're like, wait a minute. Okay. And people keep coming back, but they don't know what to do. Yeah. Right. That was a great distinction, Jason, right? Get us all unbothered with what you're offering, what you're talking about, what you do, and then go just make an offer. Our job is to educate you guys. My job is to educate on what I do, how I do it, and how you participate, right? An example is at the Big Money Business Summit. This class is about, here's what I do, here's how I do it, jump in, here's my recommendation, stop thinking about it, do it. That's not all soft and fluffy. You're really clear what my ask is, yes? Raise your hand if you're clear what my ask is. I need to have you more time, longer time to transform your business. 80% of people will take a class and never do anything with it. Okay, don't waste your time and money. Well, if I'm going to take something, I'm going to do something. What's one thing I can implement? It doesn't have to be parting the Red Seas. What's one thing I can do? If I do one thing, what's going to get me that? What's the highest income producing activity that I can do? Do a Facebook Live, make an offer. Pick up the call, pick up the phone. Dr. Tanya, hey, is there a strategic partnership we can do together? Or something we can play together? That's opportunity. Is there some way we can play? Don't come in with all the answers. Come in with ideas. Come in with energy. Come in with opportunity. Come in with excitement. Come in with telling people what you're up to and what you're doing. Some of you get on the phone and it's death. You're not excited about life. If you're not excited about life, why should I be excited about life? Right? When people get on a call with me, they're like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I want to fire. I want to do this. This is normal for me. I've not drinking. There's no, this is just normal because I love what I do. And I want Billy to have his life. I want Diane to have her life. I want Jill to have all the money that she needs, right? To take care of her family and herself. I want Butterfly to save the babies, right? That takes time. So that takes time. Diane, do you want to share? Diane Everson?
And for me, it's a lot of things that I've known that you brought up, and I've just plain forgotten about them. And so that was a real good thing. Thank you.
You're welcome. How many of you know, like you should be doing this, but either you forgot or you put it in a drawer, or it's like, I'm going to get around to it. How many are going to get around to it, right? This is where the magic happens. Nothing happens without a mathematical equation. This, Billy, was the thing that I finally said, if I don't understand this, like me, I have to know it like I know it, like I know it. I felt stupid, keep having to ask, like, say that to me one more time, help me do that one more time. Wait, why am I managing that number, right? Because I'd have the leads that came in, Dr. Tanya, right? But I wasn't closing. Well, they were fans, they weren't really qualified leads. So some of you have a lot of fans, but no one's taking action. They're not qualified leads. So we need to look at, what is a qualified lead? What is that? So I need you to come to the Big Money Business Summit. I need you, if you love this session and talking, then you want to sign up for VIP, because we do something called Fast Cash. We do something called the Love Seat, and we're doing on-the-spot coaching to help you grow your business. Anybody else want to share?
You know, I've been through the Big Money Summit and doing this, is that when you look at it, you can look at it with new eyes, right? So I think for me, it's just even like, okay, I know where I'm at, because when you start knowing the numbers, then you know where you're at, and you can take a look at like, here's where I need to be. And it really helps me set like, oh, so if you're going for 600, then what do I really need? Like, if that's what Susie's doing, what can I do? Success leaves clues. So I really, for me, I like that. I loved right where I need to know where my sales script is at, right? Do you guys got your manual? If not, get it. So, I mean, I think for me that's what it is just looking at it and going like, gaining more confidence and saying, okay, here's what I can do, and saying, this is my next and what I'm going to implement. So I just get clearer and clearer each time. And so thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Good job. So here's what I want you to look at, Melanie, and everyone else that has the same conversation about Melanie, is I want you to put your accomplishments on a list and a piece of paper in front of you. Risa, all your accomplishments, everything that you've been through that gives you credibility. Believe it or not, when I lost $9,500,000, that's an accomplishment. It taught me what not to do. It taught me how I was over leveraged. That's a value system that I can bring to anyone when I see people over leveraging themselves. Like, don't do what I did. Let's do it a different way. Unless you have a high risk tolerance and you are okay with losing $10 million, right? Nobody wants to feel that way. That makes you do the PB dance in the wrong way, right? So all the accomplishments, if you've written a book, if you're writing a book, if you have accomplished, like Tessa said, she's managed multiple salons and spas, the manager, lead them to profitability, get in the minutia. She helped those businesses be profitable. She put the training systems together. She recruited people. Like, what are all those skills that you do unknowingly that you're not giving yourself credit for? You forgot about them. Like, that's old news, but it still makes you who you are. I built 10 multi-million-dollar businesses, 2 $10 million companies, right? Building another $10 million company. It's a system. That's part of my accomplishment. I've written 10 books. I had my own publishing company. We were the top 1% in the nation, top 10% in the world. We built the largest technology company. I knew nothing about technology. That's just my credibility and my credentials. So when my smallness comes in and doesn't want me to charge what I'm worth, because that happens to me too, I'm scared to say how much it is because I'm managing their checkbook. I go back to my list and go, hold on. This is what I produce, and I can help Dr. Tanya produce. I can help Michelle produce. I can help Jennifer produce. I can help Sandra produce, right? It's not a one-hit wonder. I've done it 10 times for myself, and I've done it thousands of times for clients. And even if you've been to the Big Money Business Summit before, it's all new content, right? New instructors, new content, new opportunity. The networking in itself, the community in itself, worth its weight in gold. Worth its weight in gold. Because the people make the tribe. The people help you grow quicker, faster. Relationships help you win. I look at Grandma Sparky got over $500,000 of services donated to her last year because of this community, not some random community, this community. Jason and Breeson got hundreds of thousands of dollars donated in services because of this community, right? They didn't ask for it. The community showed up. They said what they needed. The community gave them what they needed. We have story after story after story of how people partnered in business, how they leverage business, how they raise their hand by being vulnerable and telling the truth quicker, faster, miracles can occur. By you getting clear with your numbers and going, I may not know how to do this. I'm going to trust and I'm going to keep working it. Because sometimes you have to keep coming back until you finally hear it. Jason, I've said that find the need, feel the need, make the recommendations many times before, but this was the right time to hear it, right? My brain was too clogged. Your brain was too clogged with other stuff at the time. Now it's now, like there's no more back door, right? For you guys, it's like, we got to do this now. So I want to close all the back doors. So my job is to help you. My job is to support you. My job is to come keep learning until my words become your words, until my plan becomes your plan. And whatever your financial plan is, it could be 100,000, $500,000, $1 million, 10 million, 20 million, whatever your number is. My job is to help you accomplish that number. And there's a couple things that you're doing that's sabotaging you unconsciously. There's things that you're doing right, but if you're doing the right thing in the wrong order, it's not going to happen. So I want to support you.